Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Whale Nerds podcast. This is episode number 54.
I think
And
it's 54. Yeah.
and my name is Slater, and I'm here with Eric and Caitlin.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
And we are all inside.
We're all on lockdown.
Yup.
Lockdown, Bobby Brown.
House arrest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I'll tell you some bad news.
What?
My trip to Mexico got cut short.
Oh, I know.
I had 8 more days of awesome whale watching with blue whales and maybe fin whales and maybe humpbacks and for sure gray whales.
Well, Eric didn't need to go.
At least you got to go.
Hey, I know someone that was the day I left. Someone was Delaney Cetaceans was actually.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm supposed to leave tomorrow to San Ignacio. I'm like, well, I highly recommend not going because everything is like, well, the camps were shutting down too.
True. Yeah.
Like because all their people are canceling, so there's no reason to stay open. So they all want to go back. They've all been there they all go there for a couple of months, so they all want to go back to their families in like La Paz and stuff. Seems like where most of the people, I think, except for the drivers, are from La Paz. All the drivers are from like San Ignacio town. It seems like.
Yeah, most of them are locals.
Because they have like first dibs, you know what I mean?
I feel like a lot of the Kuyuma crew is from that area, but yeah, I mean, it's hard. Ecotourism is one of the first few things to go. It's not an essential. As much as we love our jobs, it's not an essential business in a crisis.
Yeah. So
we're all exploring the world of unemployment.
I can't even collect unemployment.
I know, that's a bummer for being a business owner.
What business? There's nothing left. Just kidding. Well, I'll start by talking about my trip because it was flipping awesome. We the first day we got there, we went to like a little whale museum in Loretto, and the guy has fin whale jaw or fin whale like jaw and, like the whole head, and then he has sei whale, and he has most of the whole sei whale, I think, and then he also has a sperm whale, like full head skeleton, and then he had some. He had half of a Rizzo's dolphin, half of a whiteside. So, dude, guess what? This guy's museum, half of it caught on fire.
When?
So he lost like half of his bone. I don't know. I didn't ask that, but yeah, half of it caught on fire. And he has a roof that's made out of God, what's that type of palm tree? I forget the name of it. It's like the big fanned one, you know?
Queen palm?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Sago palm? Date palm?
Maybe with the S. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so half of his like stuff is missing and got burned. So he has like artificial, bones there to make up the rest of it. Oh, he also had a pygmy sperm whale too.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think some beaked whale bones maybe or something. Yeah, so we went to like a little seminar, which was really cool. And they talked about, oh my gosh. So he started with showing photos of every single animal you can see in the Sea of Cortez, like in the area where we watch for the blue whales. And I'm like, stop showing them this. It's like killer whales, sperm whales, like everything that's ever gone through. False killer whales. Yeah, Rizzos. And then he's like, sometimes when we have the Rizzos, we'll get pilot whales at the same time. And I was like, oh gosh. And then as soon as we stepped out of this, what's it called? Anyway, as soon as we stepped out of there after he was done giving his talk, I told the people as we were walking back walking to dinner, I said, hey guys, just so you know, don't expect to see all of that. We're really shooting for like blue whales. And they were like, yeah, he really sold it. So yeah, but the next morning we got out on the whale watch, and it's a 5-hour whale watch, and we had blue whales, like 10 plus blue whales. And honestly, if we kept going, probably more, but we're in a ponga, so we're only going to go like, we saw like the first 4 or 5. And then we do a full day of that. And then after that, we went to the estuary, kind of looked at some birds, which I saw a little blue heron, which for my first time, which is really cool. A reddish egret, And then completely unrelated to that area, I saw a tricolored heron. Yeah, I think a tricolored heron, which is really cool. Tricolored egret or heron. Yeah, and it had literally like half blue on the back, half red on the back, and then white on the front, which I've never seen, which is pretty cool. And then the second day of whale watching, we had like only like 5 or 6 blue whales, but then we had 2 fin whales. No, 3 fin whales, 2 really close to the boat and 1 off in the distance. And we had bottlenose both days. So that was really cool. And big numbers of bottlenose, and we actually saw them all over. Like we saw them where we were watching the blue whales. We also saw them in front of Loreto, and then we also saw them around the island. It's called Isla Coronado, which is where a volcano is. And I believe it last erupted 12,000 years ago. It said 10 or 12,000 years ago. Also, there's a sea lion colony on that island as well. Yeah, so that's it for that first half. Oh, we saw a huge group of blue-footed boobies, like 15 of them all together, which was pretty cool on the rocks. Yeah, and then we were trying to go to San Ignacio, but it rained for 30 hours straight. And when it rains there, it's like the desert, so just the whole thing flooded. Yeah, it's like a mesa. So the whole thing flooded. And so our trip got delayed one day. And so then they took us on like that little island tour to Coronado. And then on our way back in, we had a breaching humpback, which I was telling the people because they were kind of bummed that they were missing a day on the lagoon, because you lose out on a full day of gray whale watching because we had to go and, wait another day. And I said to the people, I was like, sometimes when we're late on a trip or, things get pushed a little bit further, that just means animals like gray whales, for instance, are just going to be even closer if they're migrating north or south, right? Like we might run into them even closer. Well, we happened on our way in, we had a humpback that breached like 40 times. So that was pretty awesome. Then we went over to the lagoons and had an amazing time. We all got to pet a whale. It was like pretty much all mom and babies. The guy was telling me that's definitely his favorite time to be there is the end of March. Because it's like, he said that what he thinks happens is they go, because it's like a 17-mile lagoon, and he said they go like almost all the way in the lagoon, the mom and babies. Only thing is that they can't go super far because the tide does come out. But I think they come out with the tide. But he was saying that, like, what happens is he feels like they kind of nurse back there, and then as the season goes, they slowly make their way out to the entrance, and then they start practicing in the waves, and they'll swim up and back, and because it's a good workout for the baby going against the waves there, and then they head up the coast back to Alaska. But yeah, it was the gray whale part was super awesome. We all got to pet a whale. We had multiple friendly encounters, almost one a day. I think people expect you to like only have friendly encounters, but there's a lot of like spy hopping and surfing and all sorts of stuff going on. Actually, we were about to have a friendly encounter. It came from our friend's boat. We had we got split into 2 groups, and the gray whale was coming over to ours. Then bottlenose dolphin swooped it up and took it away, and then he started rolling around with the dolphins.
Did you see the bottlenose in the lagoon like every time you went out too?
Yeah, pretty much. Almost every trip we did, 100%.
Yeah.
He said that this year this is the most bottlenose he's ever seen because it's been in a while since it's been a really good sardine year in the lagoons. So we had some parasitic Jaegers in there as well.
Yeah.
He said that the only time they get frigates, because it's like really far north, he said the only time they get it is when they're about to have a storm coming from the south. Or something, and it pushes them up.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's my big whale watch adventure.
Nice.
Oh, wait, let me tell you. So it rained. It started at 1 a.m. on our last night, and we were supposed to make up. We were supposed to have one whale watch at 8 in the morning when we woke up. It started raining at 1:30. Rained all the way to the morning, and then we woke up. And the whole camp was flooded, like the whole camp. So, and they give you boots in the camp to wear because you have to walk out into the water sometimes getting on the boat. And I look out and there's like 6 shoe prints to the bathroom, right? To like the little outhouse thing. And then we all get into breakfast and the lady comes in. She goes, "Man, I tried to go to the bathroom last night. She didn't even put her boots on, and she stepped in the mud and walked all the way through the mud." Yeah, it was pretty funny, and they looked like big prints. It's because she was sinking in every time she wore her flip flops, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." So the whole camp was flooded, but they had to get us out of there because people had flights home the next day. So our van tried to make it in that was supposed to pick us up, and 3 cars were stuck in front of him in the little road, and they got stuck in the mud, right? So he couldn't pass through even if he wanted to. And then he tried to reverse to go back to San Ignacio town to call our guy, and he got stuck in the mud. And then someone helped him, push him, got him out. He called us. We had to take a big yellow school bus, and they drove as far as they could. Then they flipped it around and reversed as far as they could up to the mud, and then we had to walk our luggage like a quarter mile in the mud.
God.
Yeah, so it was a really fun adventure. Like, a lot of things didn't go as planned, but they ended up being so much like more fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Eric, how were your sightings before you got locked down?
Before the world came to an end, it was actually it was really picking up. It was getting really good. Northbound gray whales, were awesome. We kept on getting those trios, and all that little hanky-panky stuff they usually like to, start doing. And then humpbacks are showing up, lunge feeding on anchovies and stuff like that. So things were getting really good. And then, we got the call to, to stop. So that was it. And then, it was already slow because of all the travel issues. So we had a lot of free time. So hung out Big Sur. Saw a whole bunch of animals off the cliffs. Even ran up to San Francisco last week to check out more of the harbor porpoise and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's
that was a cool shot. The shot you got of the mom and baby, the cow calf, that was cool.
Yeah, so I got to see those harbor porpoise, and it's kind of fun knowing that the animals just started showing back up the early 2000s and disappeared for about 60 years.
Yeah.
Have you seen them every time you've gone?
Yeah, every time I've gone, I've been able to see them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes have to walk like way across to get to them, or they're like you
no,
just go to the middle and they're always there?
Yeah, I don't think I've even, most of the time I'm not even to the middle yet, and I'll start seeing them. You just gotta go when there's tide movement. And that's what you do. Yeah. There's some gray whales that were wandering the San Francisco Bay too, but I didn't see those. But I know San Francisco Whale Tours has been seeing a few before they had to stop running too. Yeah. Nice. So that's about it. Grays are still, people just walking the beaches right now trying to get outside are still seeing plenty of grays going up our coast. We're probably going to be missing a lot of cow-calf pairs and possible predations with all this going on.
Well, Scotty also posted a photo of a big humpback group feeding last night from Point Pinos. Did you see it?
Yeah, if you look at the background of those photos, you can pretty much
a lot of whales in that photo.
Get some binoculars and just go out there and, and check them out. Yeah.
Well, I had some pretty crazy sightings before we had guests. We had some good competition groups. And one day we got into the dock from one trip, and one of our sister ships like pulled into the slip next to us and was like, "Hey, we think we see a mom with 2 calves." And we were like, "What?" So they called our research department, and they went out to try and figure out what's going on, and they thought maybe the calf was separated. So it was the wildest thing. This female, what we assumed, this female with 2 babies, one was way bigger than the other one, was getting swamped by this competition group of like 15 whales, and they kept circling the boats and chasing the boats and using the boats as screens. And then at one point it almost looked like the female tried to ditch the big calf under our boat. We just shut the boat off and sat there because we didn't know what else to do. And so the bigger calf, the mom came and did this hairpin turn next to the boat with the little calf on her back, and the bigger calf got shoved under the boat. and the competition group was like chasing all of them. And then they like took off and like went past the research boat, and then like the calves got hit into the air by other humpbacks. It was like, what is happening? And we couldn't tell if like it was a separated calf and like all the adults were like, go away, like we're not your mom, or if it was just like a really aggressive competition group and this was a female with like a calf from this season and a calf from last season that was still following her. Because then the next day and previously in the season, a naturalist had reported what they thought was a yearling and a mom with another calf in the same area, but no one was able to follow up and like get drone measurements and stuff. So we were kind of like, we'll see. But then the more they started to like study the interaction and the more we kind of watched the whales over the course of a few days in that area, I think it might be a female with a yearling and with a newborn.
How crazy.
Which is really weird.
Try to ditch that yearling, huh?
Probably. Well, I don't know if she necessarily was ditching it or if like she was just trying to escape the competition group and like didn't know what to do, or it was total chaos. Like I said on the microphone to the people, I was like, I'm glad our research department is here because there's no way I could recreate this encounter for them in any way that makes sense. Cause like it's really hard to tell what's happening. But yeah, I saw multiple times a calf got shoved in the air by another adult. Like kind of like when killer whales bat them out of the water, like hit gray whale calves out of the water. They like punched the calf off of its head and like, oh my gosh, it was crazy.
I've seen, I've heard of them, people in Maui telling me that they are with a calf 1 second and the next second the mom just holds her breath and is gone. Like they said, and they're gone because you got to think about it. Eventually there's going to be one that wants to stay at home, right? Like that doesn't want to move out. So, I mean, it makes sense that sometimes they follow them all the way back.
Yeah. I want to look up, I want to take a few days and try and look up what the rate of occurrence of yearlings is in the breeding grounds, because that's like a new concept to me that I've never really noticed. But I have seen yearlings at the beginning of the season. I saw some with moms. So I don't know. I want to look more into that. But as far as other sightings, I didn't work too many whale watches after that because a lot of our trips started to get canceled because people weren't coming to the islands. But we did have lots of manta rays off and on, even from my shore-based shifts. One day I saw 4 from Wailea Point, like just sitting there doing an outreach station. And then my last snorkel trip of the season, we did the order of the trip backwards. So normally we go to Molokini and then we go to the South Shore of Maui for turtles. But we went to South Shore first and Molokini second. And we were like the only boat in Molokini when we were there because everybody else did it in the normal order. And there was a monk seal inside the crater sleeping. And so we were tied up fairly close to it, but we only had 40 people on the boat. And so my job was to lifeguard the monk seal so no one swam close to it while it was napping.
I wonder what...
I babysat a monk seal for my last shift.
I wonder what I wonder if some animals have been like, wow, there's like no boats on the water right now.
I'm sure the whales...
Like, there's still shipping lane, the cargo ships are still going and stuff like that, but
there's as far as... There's no tour boats.
Yeah, and like I wonder if they're just like, what the heck?
I think they're probably like, finally, geez.
But like, I wonder if they're just like, where'd they all go?
I'd be like, don't question it, enjoy the quiet time.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm losing it, dude. It's just the thought of knowing that I can't go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Brian Pham asked me if I wanted to, or he didn't ask me if I wanted to, but he's like, I think I'm gonna go like look for sharks at Marina or something today. We were I was thinking about going too, but I don't know.
Yeah, do some things to get fresh air. That's for sure.
Hey, we went to a Silomar.
I get up early in the morning before it gets hot here and I go look for birds.
Why aren't you snorkeling it up, dude? Turtles don't mind.
The visibility's been really bad. I have gotten in, but you can't see more than like 5 feet right now. We have a big west swell.
5 feet of visibility in Maui, geez.
Yeah, and I don't really want to like have something sneak up on me when I can't see what I'm doing. So
Yeah, yay tiger sharks.
yeah, but yeah, maybe next week.
I'm not gonna look for grunion tomorrow night.
Fun.
Oh, I got a magazine in the mail, and it's called SWOT, SWOT. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
It's about turtles. Oceanic Society, I think, is the people who make they are the people I believe that make this. And it's all about the sea turtle statuses, and it shows them like maps of all the stuff about them. And there was a picture in here of a turtle, and first off, there's a picture in here where a jaguar meets a turtle.
Oh yeah, Costa Rica probably.
Yeah, yeah, maybe Nansite Beach. And then another cool picture is there's a is it a hawksbill? There's a turtle and it has a Nazca booby landed on it in the sea. Like how is someone diving with a turtle and like yeah, look at this.
Wow.
It's like and it's
really cool.
it's a below and yeah. No sea turtle is an island. That's so funny, huh? But yeah, Nazca booby rests on the back of an Olive Ridley's turtle.
I mean, I think I told you guys this before. I may have even said it on an episode, but I have a photo of a Western gull standing on a mola mola. I have to find it.
Oh, I have something I want to bring up. So, they do in the camp. The guy gives a speech, and there's a lot of researchers that go do the gray whales every year down there. Like every year they go. Like your professor, what's his name?
Jim.
Oh. Is there one named Bruce?
Bruce Payne.
Yeah, does he go there too?
Mm-hmm.
He used to. He's supposed to be retired.
I think he went there this last year for his last year or something. So, anyways, he was telling me that I don't know who he was talking to, and he totally said like this is not true at all. He's like this is just my own thought, and he was saying that basically the sound that the gray whale makes at the frequency is the same frequency of the echolocation of dolphins, and he was like basically saying like maybe they don't echolocate as precise, but it's like it can do like basically 3 feet, and that's how they know how like where to start scooping good mud at. I don't know, but he was just making it up himself. But the guy was saying like the same like it's under the same frequency as echolocation, but they don't have a melon or anything to bounce it back to, right? So I mean,
there's been talk about this possibly, Mr. Seats using echolocation for quite a while. Even if you look at the skull shape of Mr. Seats, it's almost like a cone or almost like a satellite dish. I think they can possibly even like pick up some vibrations and stuff just because of the shape of their skull. So it's been talked about.
Yeah, it's a different like hearing pathway though, because the lower jaw is not hollow and full of that fatty tissue on mysticetes like it is on odontocetes, and that's what echoes the sound up. But yeah, a lot of people speculate that because the gray whale makes like a little knocking sound that does kind of sound like clicks. I mean, that's like their normal call. So
I guess they have like 6 different calls though.
Yeah, they make like this creaking sound and this like knocking sound and this little squeak thing and yeah.
So I asked him, I said, hey, do you guys ever put the hydrophone in here? And he said, no, because there's so much pistol shrimp in the water, all you can hear is the shrimp. and then he did say that the whales are really vocal during the day, like so loud, and then at night they're like super quiet. And he said maybe because they're trying to talk over everything at night. I don't know. I mean, during the day they're trying to talk over all the noise.
Yeah.
I mean, the water's visibility, like, can't see more than 3 feet or 4 feet. Yeah. So I'm like, and they do like out of nowhere run right into each other. Like I saw 2 adults go right towards each other, like one surfed down into another one, and I'm like, does he know he's there? Or they're just gonna run into each other. So, oh my gosh, the calf. I got a photo of it. You can't like, it's just you have to be in person. But the calf completely slumped its like dorsal rib or like knuckles and then fluke right on top of the mom's head. But not for 1 second, for like a minute, it just laid it on the head of the mom. It was just laying there, like lifeless on top of the mom, and then it came back over to the boat, and then like the mom, we were like splashing the water. The mom went right under us, and we were hoping because we didn't have like we just had the calf that was playing with the boat and like petting it. You could pet it. The mom didn't come up, and it like totally teased us. It like started to come up, and then it just kept going straight under the boat, and then popped up on the other side. But it was awesome.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's still a lot to learn when it comes to missed deceits, detecting prey, and what they can and can't hear, and how, like we don't know. We don't know. Any other sighting stuff, or should we go into whale news?
Sighting talk is going to be pretty slim.
One more thing. So he was talking about how like he thinks a lot of them give birth on the way down or in front of the lagoon or wherever, right? But he thinks that a lot of them also give birth way back in the lagoon there, and no one goes there. But the only thing is so I asked him, I was like, and nobody's ever recorded a birth. I was like, just get, you want to get it from everybody because it's just no one has, right? He said the only thing he's ever found was a placenta there too.
Interesting. In the back of the lagoon.
I don't know where. He just said like in the lagoon somewhere. You can't go whale watching there. You have to whale watch in the front. You guys have been there, you know.
Yeah.
How cool is it that at the edge of the lagoon they radio the guy that sits out there, and then on top of that, every single captain in the lagoon has like a 3-day period there. They all switch off. Even the 2 captains we were with have both done it already that season.
Yeah, they have to control the number of boats in the zone. So you have to ask for permission to enter, and they have to know who's coming and going.
Yeah, but that guy that's standing out there is a captain. And so each company that is there has to send their captain there for 3 days. Yeah. It's their own little governor thing because basically the government said, if you don't like come up with regulations, I'm going to have to, and I don't want to because I don't know anything,
Yeah.
And so then
the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, so I'm gonna make it bad for you if you don't tell me what you want, which is kind of what we're trying to do here in Monterey, right? We were trying to do.
Yeah, I think a lot of those things have had to fall by the wayside because everybody's ceasing operations. But yeah, I mean, I always would say if you have a responsible industry that can self-regulate, then put them on paper and show people what you're doing and be transparent about it. That way you can maintain a high operational standard. But
yeah,
we digress. So let's some whale news before everyone stopped whale watching. Although there's still whale news happening, it's just more shore based now.
Talk about the birth.
Yeah. So let me pull up the date.
Boom.
On March 16th, March 14th was the first sighting of the female that was giving partial birth. They resighted her with a calf on March 14th. So that's 6 weeks later. The initial birth was documented on February 3rd. And mom and calf both look healthy, and it looks like the calf's about the right size to be 6 weeks old. So they think that's her calf that they documented her giving birth to, and somehow she disappeared for 6 weeks, but here she is still in Maui with that healthy little baby, and they're fine, which is so crazy.
Awesome. But they looked so hard that day. I'm just wondering what happened. How did it disappear?
I mean...
Well, they said it was rough. They said the Noah boat was the last on it, and they said that it was too rough, so they basically
I wonder where it swam to. It wasn't... I was out that day. I was actually in Maui that day on the water when that happened, and it wasn't that bad, but maybe it swam to a rougher area? Or the wind did pick up later on.
If they swam north and west from where we were, out into the channel between Molokai and Lanai, it gets really rough there.
Yeah.
And they could have just been in that channel the whole 6 weeks. No one really goes there. We went there on February 7th. I didn't see any mom and calf pairs, but I think we may have been the only commercial boat to go over there unless it was fishing, because the only boats that go to Molokai are for the fuel barge and for supplies. And the Safari Spirit cruise line. But yeah, there's no one going over there, and so once you get a few miles north of Lahaina, like no one's really looking. So they could have just been hiding this whole time.
Hiding.
Because there was definitely, when we got out towards Molokai, we had 2 or 3 mom calf pairs on the 7th. None of them were only a few days old. So like there was whales over there. They definitely could have been over there. Other moms were doing it, so why not? But that was pretty exciting. I really thought that calf was goner. Like,
yeah,
it took so long to give birth. It was like so blatantly obvious in front of other boats. I was like, this can't be normal. Like something's wrong. But there they are. I still am not sure if it's normal or not, but they both survived.
And that's the good thing. Yeah.
Well, if that boat was following the whale, they said I believe they said 6 hours Noah boat was like following them, and then it got too rough wherever they went to, right? Well,
yeah.
Maybe they just didn't want to give birth because there was a boat there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much control an animal has over that. But whales also can control a lot of other things in their body that we have no possible like reference for, you know. So maybe, I don't know.
I doesn't want to be in that much pain anyway, so probably like I'll just ditch this thing and keep going if I have to.
I would feel like you'd want it over quickly, but who am I?
Who knows? The whales probably eat like a pufferfish and give them like pain reliever or something. Oh, dude, I wonder. Okay, so I showed you that pufferfish spine, Eric, and you identified it. Well, I wonder if the dolphins are the ones that are messing with it because there's bottlenose everywhere. And I believe off of Mexico, those are the ones that have done that where they grab the pufferfish and the toxins, get them high. Maybe that's why they're all washing up. Or something's messing with them. They explode, like the sea lions, and they explode. But you know what I mean? Puff up, and then they get blown into the beach. That's my other theory.
Yeah.
Never know. Yeah.
In Hawaii, we're experiencing the same issue with pufferfish. So they think it's a disease or something or a toxin in the water that's interrupting their ability to like retract their muscles.
A lot of them are they like the whole beach covered?
No, but
not the whole beach, but a few.
It's been reported off and on for a while now that there's pufferfish like that can't retract their muscles and they just get stuck floating at the surface. So.
Oh, there was a dead bottlenose dolphin. Did I show you guys the pictures on the beach?
You told me
that. That turtle shell. There are so many bones in San Ignacio.
Yeah.
But there was dolphin. Probably like a month. It was pretty gone. It was gone. It was like the head was like still had some, stuff. Yeah, but the teeth were like perfect. It's like they were just perfect little teeth.
Cool.
Yeah. Neat thing about San Ignacio, there's bones everywhere. If you look harder enough, there's fossils all along the beach too, like right along the edge. Yeah.
I want to. Just let me take home something.
No.
Like just a gray whale rib, dude. Like put it on my wall. I could put it like 2 as an X or something.
I don't think it's gonna fit in your house or in your suitcase.
It would have. I brought my big suitcase. I was supposed to be there for 17 days.
Oh, yeah, Margaret was supposed to come too.
No, she wanted to. She had work.
Oh, I thought she was gonna come for the second week.
She could have because work got canceled here.
Yeah.
I called. So how funny is it that if you go sit in the yellow school bus, put your phone up on the dashboard and leave it for 2 seconds, you get 3 bars of service. And I could call you guys in the camp. And I call Eric and he says, stay in Mexico. His first words are either stay in Mexico or don't come home or stay in Mexico.
Yeah.
I think. And I was like, what now? Because like every time I got a hold of Margot, because none of us had service, I had to report back to my group of people like, okay, well now this is shut down and now this is shut down and then they were like all these people are retired, so they're all like, okay, well we'll extend our trip another week, another 2 weeks. They were all supposed to go to La Paz, and they were supposed to do Magdalena Bay, La Paz for whale sharks, a sea lion colony, and then something else. And then they only did one more day, and then they issued the like, if you need to come home, otherwise you're gonna get stuck. And so they all had to come home. So that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I would have just stayed retired. No, nothing to do. And they were there was like couples, so, you know.
Who knows? So there was some other whale news. This was from March 9th in Chile. Some sei whales got chased into a shallow bay. It looks like 2 sei whales originally by some killer whales. In, what does it say? Puerto Williams Bay, Navarino Island, Chile. And the killer whales chased them in, and the sei whales tried to escape on the beach. And the bigger one got out, and the little one was like stranded on the shore, and the killer whales were like still harassing it. Let's see. I think they both. Video taken by the Chilean Navy shows the whale stranded near the southern tip of Chile on Monday, but the whale eventually managed to work its way out of the shallows and swim back into the ocean. But then it sounds like maybe 1 or 2 other whales were like permanently stranded. So that's pretty wild. There's a couple different videos, and yeah, looks pretty crazy. I'll see if I can post it on our Facebook page so people can check it out, because it was.
I'll have to look at it too.
Pretty wild.
So I asked if they've ever seen any killer whales in the lagoons in San Ignacio.
Yeah.
And the guy said 1996 one time he's seen it, and he's been working there since then. That was like his first year. But just in the front, they didn't go like all the way in or anything, but they had killer whales right in the mouth, which is pretty crazy to think.
I wonder how loud are the shrimp inside the lagoon versus outside the lagoon.
I didn't stick my head in, so I don't know.
Maybe maybe it's too loud. Maybe that's the other issue, is they can't really get a good sense of where the heck they are because it's too noisy.
Maybe that's why they like that spot.
I don't know. I mean, I know it's subject to tides and the bathymetry is pretty tricky to navigate, but like, how could you fit hundreds of gray whales in there and not have a killer whale get in there and do something?
You could totally see like the gray whales will go into spots where they're kicking and their fluke is at the surface and they're hitting the bottom, like the mud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, dude. So crazy in there. Way different than Magdalena Bay. Like, way different.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's a thought. I mean, if it's so loud that they can't even get recordings, maybe it's too loud for the killer whales to be able to do anything effectively.
And it's not that deep. Like, the average depth in there is 45 feet.
That's true. They do work better in deep water.
Yeah. So,
I have 3 other pieces of whale news. One was that dwarf sperm whale video that I sent both of you guys. It was like a dwarf sperm whale in a harbor, and it was being harassed by a seal or a sea lion. And the poor thing launched itself up onto the rocks, and then when it slid back into the water, it expelled all its ink from its like modified bile duct that stores ink from its diet. I think we talked about this on one of the episodes, the Weird Whale Facts episode, maybe like episode 5 or something.
Yeah, way in the beginning.
But yeah, dwarf and pygmy sperm whales can both pull ink from the squid that they eat out of their digestive system and store it and use it later for when they get startled, they like expel it, which is pretty wild. I think that's so cool.
Just watching how much it actually released was kind of crazy. I thought it'd just be like one little like blip of it, but yeah, it was pretty intense.
Dude, it's been storing it for decades.
Yeah, that'd be something to try and investigate. Like, how long can they store it, and how much can they store, and like, is it the same composition as the ink from a squid? Because it honestly looked more like blood than it did like ink when I first watched it, but I don't know. Right? Don't you think it looked more red than normal squid ink?
Yeah, that's why that post that you shared with me, yeah, it's straight out in big bold letters says, "This is not blood," because you know how people are, like they type before they read. Like, why would you post something like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then if you
was it in Africa or Australia?
I don't know where it was actually.
Not where it was. Yeah, I saved it. Let's see if I know where it was.
I'll look it up again.
Yeah, I think I saved it.
And then if you're in Massachusetts, I know they've told people to stay home, but if you can practice your proper social distancing, they are seeing right whales from shore at in Cape Cod around Race Point. And last week they had a harp seal on the beach at Race Point.
In Cape Cod,
what?
Huh? Wow.
Yeah.
I love harp seals.
I mean, that was like so wild.
Harp.
I don't know how often they see them come down that far, but yeah, one of my friends went down there and she saw it.
Speaking of right whales, did you guys see the parasail boat over the right whales in the Gulf of Mexico?
In the Gulf side.
So the guy swung them over just like they would do, in Southern California over a gray whale, which they don't need more, thank God. But they swung the people over the whales. And the video footage was actually pretty good from the cell phone of mom and Cap. They definitely look like they got startled too.
Yeah.
Or they were just rolling around at the same time. But yeah, can you imagine that's the whale you get swung over and you have no idea? Like
something so rare.
Yeah. So is that new for them to be in that side too, or they usually go there?
I think they have sightings.
They've been in there, yeah.
From there, but it's just not really common.
Yeah.
They look so cool from the drone.
Yeah, there's only
velocities on their head and stuff.
Sperm whales show up in the Gulf every now and then, and there's a really small population of was it sei whales? Right there.
They have sei whales and Brutus whales that they see in there. Yeah.
It's a tiny little area that they hang out on, just a little on the west side of Florida there. Just forgot the name. It was like a canyon area that they just kind of hang out there.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of seismic stuff that happens there too.
Yeah, because of all the oil. But yeah, was it Brutus whales or sei whales? They're one that washed up in the Everglades, remember? And they were super concerned because that population was so small.
Yeah, they see both. I think the Brutus whales might be more of a resident population.
Yeah, it's a tiny population.
So the pleats on.
Yeah, Brutus.
Oh shoot, Eric cut out.
We said it's Brutus whales.
Oh, okay. So I had no service in the camp, and I was listening to Spying on Whales for the 50th time. And I went back to the part where they talk about going on the Icelandic ship because they wanted to study a fresh whale, because usually things decay really fastly on whales that have washed up on the beach, right? So, or decompose really fastly. And so they were looking at the pleats on the rorqual whales and how there must be muscles in there and they can contract or let them out, because otherwise when they open their mouth they would have so much drag it would like blow it out.
Yeah.
So they can actually because you got to think about it, they also got to be able to push it back out. So it kind of makes sense that's not just doesn't just balloon out like a pelican. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it undulates. If you see underwater videos of them, it
Or from my drone video, remember it where it goes woof, woof, woof.
Yeah. What do they call them? They call them springy tendons or something. They just put out a paper only a couple years ago about it.
Yeah, everything's springy in there. Even the nerves have this amazing ability to stretch in there. And don't forget that little glob in between the two the mandible right there.
Yeah,
that's gonna regulate the animal can probably regulate the flow of water and kind of make minute adjustments so it doesn't do any damage to itself, or at least know how much water's in its mouth and how much food's in there.
Yeah, they I remember when the paper first came out, someone had a photo of two people pulling on one of the folds, to sit. I was like, oh, that's kind of morbid, but also really
Me and
cool.
Eric saw the humpback up close, and you could see how thick each one of those little pleats is.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, friends, what are we gonna do with our time in isolation?
Read books about whales, listen to books. You guys, I really want to go to Cerro Ballena.
Down in the Atacama?
You know why?
Why?
It's where my friends are at, and from the Eocene. That's where the Basilosaurus and the Pakicetus are. And did you guys know that there was a walrus? There was a walrus style
A walrus whale.
Yeah, but there was like literally the same bone structure as a walrus, but not in the Arctic.
Yeah, they were right here off our coast. Yeah.
Science.
Pretty cool. You're gonna figure out how to go back to the Eocene while you're in isolation?
Guess. Would you guys go?
I'm scared that
the virus is there.
Maybe.
There's probably different viruses there.
One.
Yeah. I bet we wouldn't even last like a day, huh? There's no shots for that air. There's no vaccines.
No. Would we live by something? Our bodies made antibodies over time after lots of people died, and the survivors passed them on to the next generation of humans. The humans
make one for the coronavirus.
For the vaccines. Is the atmosphere the same? Like, would we be able to breathe? It's pretty close to what it was now.
No, well, then the oxygen was a little higher. That's why they think some things grew bigger. But there were certain areas where, especially if there's volcanic activity, you probably have higher levels of sulfur, which means you probably wouldn't fare too well right there.
Yeah, bring a mask.
If we're gonna go back in time.
Well, I don't know. We should go to the future. There might not be a lot left.
I don't know about that either. But let's just take it one day at a time.
All right. Eric, I guess until April. Dude, there's no way that April 8th is just going to start back up again.
Yeah, it's not going to happen like that.
It's the 23rd right now. And looking at the calendar, dude, that just seems like forever away, the 8th.
Yeah.
But like how fast everything's happening, it's like, oh my gosh.
Been stuck in a house for a week and it's already so I'm like, oh my God.
I will tell you, I got a pretty crazy comment on TikTok. I posted a video of petting the gray whale and I said, I wish I didn't have to leave these whales, but I have to come home now. And someone said, stay in Mexico, you have a coronavirus. Jesus.
Rude. Just rude. What a wild assumption.
Yeah, and now the baby gray whales have it.
I don't think so.
They're probably immune to it.
Probably won't cross into whales.
You know what I didn't see on the whales, and I was really looking. There wasn't very much whale lice.
Really?
Yeah, just in the blowhole and the genital area, and there just wasn't a lot. Maybe it's just all the baby gray whales were just super clean. Barely even any. The mom had barnacles, but she didn't come close.
Yeah, because they're young.
Yeah, no, I know, but still, I figured there'd be a little bit more because towards
they're not losing skin that quickly when they're that little, so they don't really have a big population of lice.
Someone thought that they were the baby gray whale was upside down, so you could see the ventral grooves, and someone was like, "Oh my God, look at all those scratches."
They do get scratches from rubbing on their mom's barnacles, but yeah, they do have those little grooves.
Yeah, and to be honest, they also get scratches from the bottom of the boat from barnacles. Same thing.
Yeah.
But they said most of them are more likely from the mom because it's not like they rub on the boat all day. They come for 15 seconds and then leave.
Yeah.
But they said that they do definitely get them. Dude, the baby was just pushing the boat with his head. I'm like, dude, you're gonna bump. He was bumping his noggin right on the boat.
Oh, cute.
All right, you guys. Well.
Yeah.
How are you going to keep a podcast about whales going when you don't see any whales?
Yeah. I think we should shift our tactic and research topics and talk about them, little TED Talks or something.
How about School of Caitlin Taylor?
Yeah. I'll say some fun facts about things, and then you guys ask questions.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll try and do as many episodes as we can. We don't have a lot of things to go out and see, but no one else does really either. So we'll just take it one day at a time. Wash your hands, please, and stay inside. Obey the recommendations from your local government. So get ahead of this thing, and we can all get back out on boats and watch whales.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you sticking with us. And we'll come up with some cool topics. We got nothing but time now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.